And welcome back to Hannity. An investigation conducted by the AP is now revealing that top Obama appointees are using secret government email accounts. And while most agencies have failed to turn over lists of these emails, the AP has so far identified secret addresses at the Labor Department, at the Department of Health and Human Services, including the private email account of HHS Secretary, and that would be Kathleen Sebelius. Now, earlier today, when asked about this additional account, Sebelius had this to say to Fox News.
There's no secret email account. There's a public email and a private email, and they're all FOIA-able. They're all available.
And what was the point of having the private email?
28,000 emails a month come into the public email. About 400 come into the private email. It's just a management issue. I can't possibly answer or screen all of them, and I want people to get timely answers.
Now, while all of that may sound well and good, based on the administration's history of indifference to the facts, its culture of corruption, how can we take that at face value? Well, we'll leave it to the White House press secretary, Jay Carney, to keep all of us questioning, because when he was asked about the White House staff email accounts, he, not surprisingly, just refused to answer. Watch this.
The White House, like Congress, which I'm sure will be part of any story you do on this, is not subject to FOIA. But the point is, well, I'm not going to get into people's individual email addresses.
Here with reaction to that, much more, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator, good to see you. Welcome back.
Good to be with you, Sean.
Your reaction to all that?
Well, you know, I've been kind of disappointed because there were certain aspects of President Obama that I wanted to like. And I mean this with all sincerity. I mean, I wanted to see a president who was truly liberal, who I couldn't have voted for, but I want to see a good liberal who would defend the First Amendment, who would defend transparency, who wouldn't be targeting the press or targeting political enemies. So really defending the First Amendment, defending the Fourth Amendment. And now we have this whole culture of corruption where we've got these secret email accounts. And I mean, for example, it would be a problem if they're communicating with lobbyists secretly, if they're saying to certain people that might make money off of the health care. This is what brought down Clinton's health care plan in 1994, is they found out the secret meetings involved people who were going to make money off of the reform. So people make money in all ways in government, so that's why we want to know who they're talking to, and it should be open to the public.
Are you saying that he is not defending certain amendments? And if not, specifically, which ones do you think he's not defending?
Well, you know, I think with regard to the First Amendment in particular, because the freedom of the press doesn't always get it right. The press can be on the right or the left or in the middle, but they're searching out news to make the rest of us accountable. And so I think when he targets AP reporters or a Fox News reporter, particularly the way he did it, he didn't go to a judge. He did it in one case, and I think the judge made a grievous error, which shows you that even a judge can make an error, but he did go to a judge. But in the AP case, I think they had issued an administrative subpoena, which is not really a warrant, and they went after these records. I think in neither the Fox case nor the AP case was there any reason to go after the media. If someone is leaking information, if you're in government, go after the leaker. That's the one breaking the law. Printing the news is not breaking a law, and you'll notice they never went after the media, but they did tell the judge that they were treating the Fox News reporter, James Rosen, as complicit. See, this is the danger, because what if they said he was complicit, and I'm not saying he is or anybody, but let's say they say a reporter's complicit to terrorism. Under current day law, you could be sent to Guantanamo Bay without a trial. This is a president who's supposed to be a progressive, defend our civil liberties, who signed a law saying that you could be sent to Guantanamo Bay, an American citizen, without a charge or trial. So I am disappointed in the president, and I think many people on the left are.
Well, let's listen to the president in his own words talking about the importance of FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, and transparency in government. Here's what the promises that he made.
The directives I am giving my administration today on how to interpret the Freedom of Information Act will do just that. For a long time now, there's been too much secrecy in this city. Starting today, every agency and department should know that this administration stands on the side not of those who seek to withhold information, but those who seek to make it known. The Freedom of Information Act is perhaps the most powerful instrument we have for making our government honest and transparent, and of holding it accountable. And I expect members of my administration not simply to live up to the letter, but also the spirit of this law. Going forward, anytime the American people want to know something that I or a former president wants to withhold, we will have to consult with the Attorney General and the White House counsel, whose business it is to ensure compliance with the rule of law. Information will not be withheld just because I say so. Let me say it as simply as I can. Transparency and the rule of law will be the touchstones of this presidency.
Do you think that these private email accounts live up to that standard, or maybe do you think that they were designed to avoid FOIA requests?
Well, here's the thing. When I hear the president speak and what he just said, if I were sitting in the audience, I would stand up and cheer, because what he's saying sounds so great. What he said recently about if an American were targeted for attack, they would get due process. But he thinks due process is him making a decision and not a judge or not a jury. So when he says that, I'm not sure he really means this. And I think what's happening is these constellation of scandals, one after another, Benghazi, the IRS, the reporters that he's targeted, I guess he's losing. And to me, he's losing that moral authority, the moral authority to lead the nation. And even though he sounds so great, and I want to believe in what he says, he's losing that believability to the American public.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you, you sort of got in a little bit of a, I guess, conflict with Senator John McCain, and on his recent trip to Syria, there was a photograph taken of him with two men who, according to Beirut news reports, were involved in the kidnapping of a group of people from Lebanon. You're concerned about having involvement in Syria. I share your concerns because it reminds me a little bit of Egypt. What are your concerns here?
Here's my point, and it really wasn't directed so much towards an individual senator. I never mentioned his name. My point is that it's difficult to tell friend from foe. Even if in Afghanistan, which we've been there 10 years and it's much more stable, we have soldiers in the Afghan army who are our allies who shoot our soldiers in the back. They'd simply lie. So now we're going to go into Syria, which is a mess, and we're going to be allied with al-Qaeda, fighting the Assad regime, who are bad guys, but we're going to be allied with al-Qaeda, and we're going to say, are you part of al-Qaeda? And they're going to say no, and we're going to give them Stinger missiles and man-pads and expect that they're telling us the truth. It's hard to vet who your friends are, and I think in Syria there's a great danger you give it to Islamic rebels who are going to be shooting Christians on the other side. I have a problem with it.
All right, real quick, because we're running out of time, on the immigration bill, a lot of conservatives are saying not enough border security. They're not supporting it. Where do you stand on it?
It's got to have more border security to get my vote. I've told them what it would take. I have an amendment, Trust But Verify, that says we write in